shadowy figure emerged from the forest. Born from the darkness of human hearts and fed by the evil deeds of men. It was the darkness made flesh, a spirit that had been corrupted by its own power and greed. It sought to break the barrier and consume the light of the village. Adi stood firm, her voice rising in the ancient chants, her hands weaving the signs that bound the spirits to her will. The battle was fierce. In a time long forgotten, there lived a dark and malevolent force known as Akuma. Akuma was a shadow unlike any other, born from the darkness of human hearts and fed by the evil deeds of men. For as long as anyone could remember, Akuma had roamed the land, seeking to claim the souls of the innocent and drag them down into the depths of despair. His presence was marked by an unsettling chill, a feeling of being watched, and a creeping sense of dread that seeped into the bones of all who crossed his path. One fateful day, a young warrior named Emeka stumbled upon Akuma's lair while on a quest to prove his bravery. The air grew thick with a creepy silence as Emeka approached the dark cave, and he could feel Akuma's eyes upon him, piercing and cold. As Emeka ventured deeper into the lair, Akuma emerged from the shadows, his form a dark, amorphous mass that seemed to shift and writhe like a living thing. The young warrior stood frozen, his heart pounding in his chest, as Akuma began to speak in a voice that was both ancient and eternal. "You have entered my domain, Emeka," Akuma hissed. "Now, you will never leave." And with that, Akuma reached out with a shadowy finger, ensnaring Emeka's soul and drawing him into a realm of darkness and terror. From that day on, Emeka was forever changed, haunted by the evil presence of Akuma, the dark shadow. The people of the land whispered of Akuma's power, how he could manipulate the shadows to do his bidding, and how his malevolent influence spread. They knew that to cross paths with Akuma was to invite doom, and so they lived in fear of the dark shadow that lurked in every corner, waiting to strike. Over the years, the villagers still lived in fear for their lives, because their hearts were filled with stories passed down through generations, stories that spoke of the spirits that dwelled in every leaf, stone, and in the dark. Among them was a young girl named Adis, whose spirit was as fierce as the winds that danced through the treetops. She had a gift, a rare ability to see the spirits that others could not. Her grandmother, Ezenwani, was the village's spiritual guardian, and she taught Adis the ways of the old, the language of the spirits, and the rituals that kept the village safe. Adis had a faithful companion, a mythical creature named Udo, which in the language of the village meant peace. Udo was a rare white lion, born with the mark of the crescent moon on his forehead, signifying his connection to the spiritual realm. Udo had been by Adi's side since she was a child. He was her protector, her confidant, and her guide. Together, they roamed the forest, communicating in a silent language only they understood. Udo's presence gave Adis the courage to embrace her destiny, and his wisdom helped her interpret the messages of the spirits. As Adis grew, so did her powers, and with it, a prophecy that spoke of a great challenge that would befall the village. It was said that the dark shadows would rise from the depths of the earth, seeking to devour the light of the spirits and plunge the world into eternal night. The villagers, though fearful, trusted in Adis and Ezenwani to protect them. They gathered to perform the sacred rites that would strengthen the barrier between their world and the darkness. Adis, with her grandmother's guidance, led the ceremony under the ancient baobab tree in the heart of the village. But as the ritual reached its climax, the ground trembled, and a shadowy figure emerged from the forest. Born from the darkness of human hearts and fed by the evil deeds of men. It was the darkness made flesh, a spirit that had been corrupted by its own power and greed. It sought to break the barrier and consume the light of the village. Adis stood firm, her voice rising in the ancient chants, her hands weaving the signs that bound the spirits to her will. The battle was fierce, the air crackling with the power of the unseen forces clashing. The villagers watched in awe as Adis summoned the spirit of the baobab, the oldest and most powerful of them all. With a roar that shook the heavens, the baobab spirit enveloped the darkness, its light piercing the shadow until it was no more. The village was saved, and the prophecy fulfilled. Adis had proven that even the deepest darkness could be overcome by the light within. The story of Adis and her companions teaches us that no one is truly alone. With the support of Udo and the guidance of the spiritual world, even the most daunting challenges can be overcome. Years passed, and the people of the village lived in peace, free from the terror of Akuma's shadow. Adis continued to watch over the land, ever vigilant for any sign of the dark shadow's return. She knew that Akuma's essence still lingered, waiting for the perfect moment to strike back. One day, a young girl named Afi wandered into the forest, searching for a rare herb to heal her ailing mother. As she delved deeper into the woods, the shadows seemed to grow longer and darker, and Afi felt a chilling presence watching her. Suddenly, a faint whispering began echoing in her mind. Afi, come closer. I have been waiting for you. The voice was like a gentle breeze, but it sent shivers down her spine. Afi tried to resist, but her feet seemed rooted to the spot. The whispering grew louder, more insistent, and she felt herself being drawn towards a dark, ancient tree. As she approached, the trunk began to twist and writhe, its branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. Adis, sensing the disturbance in the natural balance, appeared in a flash of light, her eyes blazing with power. Afi, step back. Do not listen to his lies. But Afi was entranced, her mind clouded by Akuma's dark magic. Adis knew she had to act fast, or risk losing the young girl to the evil shadow's influence. With a swift motion, Adis drew a small pouch from her belt and flung its contents at the ancient tree. A burst of light and energy exploded, driving Akuma's essence back and freeing Afi from his grasp. As the girl stumbled backward, confused and frightened, Adis embraced her, shielding her from the darkness. You are safe now, Afi, she whispered. But remember, the shadows are always watching, waiting for their chance to strike. And so, Adis continued to watch over the land, ever vigilant for any sign of Akuma's return. For she knew that the battle between light and darkness was never truly won, and that the shadows would always seek to reclaim their hold on the world. And so, the village remained a place of light, a village where the spirits sang in harmony with the people, and where a young girl named Adis became a legend, her name whispered with reverence by all who knew of the darkness that was defeated by the light of one brave soul. This story teaches us that courage and strength come from within, and even the youngest among us can face great challenges. Wisdom and knowledge of the past are crucial in guiding us through the present and into the future. And this is the end of my story. Thank you for watching. Please do kindly subscribe, share this video to your friends and loved ones, like and comment.